Have you ever noticed that students sometimes memorize a long list of words but still cannot use them when they read, write, or speak? Why does that happen? Is vocabulary really learnt from isolated word lists, or is it learnt better through texts? Stay with me till the end, because in this lesson, I will show you how a simple text can become a powerful tool for teaching vocabulary in an interesting, practical, and interactive way. Hello everyone, I am Mumtaz, and in today's lesson, we are going to learn how to use texts to teach vocabulary effectively. By the end of this video, you will be able to use a text to introduce vocabulary naturally, help students guess meaning from context, teach collocations, word families and usage, and design short vocabulary drills from any reading passage. And yes, as always, I want your active participation. So whenever I ask a question, please pause the video, think, and write your answer in the YouTube comment box. Why use texts to teach vocabulary? Let us begin with a simple question. When students learn a word from a list, what do they usually know? Maybe only the meaning. But when students learn a word from a text, what can they learn? They can learn meaning, context, tone, grammar, collocations, and real usage. That means a text does not teach only what a word means, it also teaches how the word lives in language. So, instead of teaching vocabulary as separate items, we can teach vocabulary as part of real communication. Quick interaction. Write in the comment box. Vocabulary is easier to remember when it is learnt through possible answer, context, or texts. What kind of texts can we use? Now here is another important point. When I say texts, I do not only mean long passages from a textbook. A text can be a short paragraph, a dialogue, a story, a news report, an advertisement, a social media post, or even a short classroom notice. So, teachers do not need to wait for a perfect reading lesson. Almost any meaningful text can become a vocabulary lesson. Drill. Pause and think. Which one of these can be used to teach vocabulary? A. Story. B. Dialogue. C. Notice. D. All of these. Correct answer D. All of these. Because vocabulary can be taught through any meaningful text. Start with curiosity before the text. One mistake many teachers make is this. They show the text and immediately start explaining difficult words. But a more effective way is to first create curiosity. Before reading, ask students questions that make them predict. For example, if your text is about a student who missed a bus during heavy rain, you can ask, "Have you ever been late because of weather? What problems can heavy rain cause? Which words might appear in a text about rain, traffic, and delay?" This activates background knowledge and prepares the mind for vocabulary. Teacher tip. Before reading, ask students to predict 3 words they expect to see in the text. This makes vocabulary learning active even before the reading begins. Sample text for today's lesson. Let us use this short text. Ali was exhausted after walking home in the scorching heat. His clothes were soaked with sweat and he desperately searched for a shaded place to rest. When he finally found a tree, he sat down with relief and drank some water. Now imagine you are teaching this text. Which words could become vocabulary targets? Maybe exhausted, scorching, desperately, shaded, relief. Now the question is, should we translate all of them immediately? Not necessarily. Instead, let us use the text itself. Technique 1. Teach meaning through context clues. The first practical technique is guessing meaning from context. Ask students, in this text, does exhausted mean very happy, very tired, very angry? Students can infer that it means very tired because Ali was walking in heat and needed rest. Now ask, what does scorching heat suggest? Mild weather, very hot weather, cold wind. Again, students can infer that scorching means extremely hot. This is powerful because students are not just receiving meaning, they are discovering it. Interactive drill. Dear students, answer in the comment box. What does shaded place mean in this text? Why did Ali feel relief? Possible ideas: a shaded place is a place protected from direct sunlight. Ali felt relief because he found rest, shade, and water. Teaching point: when students guess from context, they read more carefully, they think more deeply, and the word stays longer in memory.
Technique 2. Teach vocabulary in chunks, not alone. Now here is a very important strategy. Do not teach words only as single words. Teach them as chunks or collocations. From the same text. Exhausted after walking. Scorching heat. Desperately searched. Shaded place. Felt relief. This helps students learn how words naturally go together. For example, instead of teaching only relief, you can teach feel relief, a sense of relief, sigh with relief. Instead of teaching only search, you can teach search for help, search for water, search for a place. Mini drill. Which sounds more natural? A. Strong heat. B. Scorching heat. Better answer, scorching heat. Which sounds more natural? A. Drank relief. B. Felt relief. Correct answer, felt relief. This is how texts help us teach natural English, not just dictionary English. Technique 3. Focus on word form and word family. A good vocabulary lesson should not stop at meaning. Take one word from the text and expand it. For example, relief. Noun, relief. Verb, relieve. Adjective, relieved. Students answer the following in comment box. I felt relief. Which part of speech is relief? Answer, noun. The medicine relieved the pain. Which part of speech is relieved? Actually, relieved there would be wrong in that sentence. The correct verb is relieve. She felt relieved after the exam. What is relieved here? Answer, adjective. Interactive practice. Complete these. 1. The news gave us great. 2. This medicine can pain. 3. I felt after finishing the task. Answers. 1. Relief. 2. Relieve. 3. Relieved. This is a practical way to connect vocabulary, grammar, and usage. Technique 4. Use the text to teach connotation and intensity. Another interesting technique is to compare simple and stronger words. For example, tired, exhausted, hot, scorching, wanted, desperately searched. Now students begin to see that some words are stronger, more vivid, and more expressive. Students answer the following in comment box. Which sentence is stronger? A. Ali was tired. B. Ali was exhausted. Correct answer, B. Which is more vivid? A. It was hot. B. It was scorching. Correct answer, B. This helps students improve not only vocabulary recognition, but also writing quality. Teacher tip. After reading a text, ask students, which word in this text is more powerful than a simple everyday word? That question develops word awareness. Technique 5. Get students to personalize the word. Students remember vocabulary better when they connect it to their own life. So after teaching a word, ask students to use it in a personal sentence. For example, when did you last feel exhausted? Have you ever walked in scorching heat? When did you feel relief recently? Comment box task. Write one sentence using any one of these words. Exhausted, scorching, relief, desperately, shaded. Please write your sentence in the YouTube comment box. This is very important because vocabulary becomes stronger when learners use it personally. Technique 6. move from understanding to production. Many lessons stop after meaning checking, but vocabulary teaching becomes more effective when students move through 3 stages. 1. Notice. Students notice the word in the text. 2. Understand. Students infer meaning from context and teacher guidance. 3. Use. Students speak, write, match, classify, or complete sentences using the word. So after reading a text, do not stop at, "What does this word mean?" Also ask, can you use it in a sentence? Can you replace a simpler word with it? Can you find its collocation? Can you classify it as noun, verb, or adjective? That is where deep learning happens.
Practical classroom activities from one text. Now let me give you some quick, practical techniques you can use with any text. Activity 1. Underline and guess. Ask students to underline unfamiliar words and guess meanings from nearby clues. Activity 2. Match the word with the situation. For example, exhausted, after working all day. Relief, after hearing good news. Scorching, very hot afternoon. Activity 3. Replace the simple word. Change very tired to exhausted. Very hot to scorching. Activity 4. Find the collocation. Match scorching to heat. Shaded to place. Feel to relief. Activity 5. Personal sentence. Students write one true sentence about their own life using the target word. Activity 6. Exit ticket. Before class ends, ask, what is one new word you learned today and where can you use it? These techniques are simple, practical, and highly effective. Let us do a final drill. Now, let us revise with a quick drill. From the text, Ali was exhausted after walking home in the scorching heat. Answer these. 1. Which word means extremely tired? 2. Which word describes extreme heat? 3. Which word would fit better, hot or scorching? Why? 4. Write one collocation from the text. 5. Write one sentence using relief. Pause the video and try. Possible answers. 1. Exhausted. 2. Scorching. 3. Scorching because it is stronger and more vivid. 4. Scorching heat. Shaded place. Felt relief. 5. I felt relief after submitting my assignment. Common mistake teachers should avoid. Let me mention one common mistake. Do not overload students with too many words from one text. If a short text has 10 difficult words, you do not need to teach all 10 in depth. Choose a few useful words. High frequency, meaningful, reusable, and suitable for students' level. In other words, teach fewer words, but teach them better. That is much more effective than rushing through a long list. Final takeaway. So what have we learned today? Using texts to teach vocabulary is effective because texts provide context, natural usage, collocations, grammar clues, and opportunities for real communication. A good vocabulary lesson from a text should help students predict, notice, guess, check, use, and recycle words. That is how vocabulary moves from short-term memory to real language use. Closing interaction. Now, tell me in the YouTube comment box, which technique did you like most today? Guessing from context, teaching collocations, word families, personal sentences, or replace the simple word activity? And also write, today I learned that texts can teach vocabulary through blank. Call to action. Dear viewers, thank you so much for staying with me till the end.
If you found this lesson useful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support encourages me to create more practical lessons for teachers and students. And remember, a text is not only for reading. A text is also a rich tool for teaching vocabulary in a meaningful, memorable, and engaging way. See you in the next lesson. Take care and keep learning.